Hello and welcome to Cinemondo with Kathy and my special guest Melanie, and we are in Baahubali 2 land. And I hope you watched our part 1 because we already went all over that movie for a while. It's like, oh, so good. So now, and I had this special episode where we just talked about some of our favorite films. We just did an episode of Cinemondo with a couple other guests, and this was one of my favorite films because I feel like this movie took what was awesome and amazing and just made it double good. Like this the gorgeous cinematography, the stunts were bigger and better, the female characters were bigger and better. Like it just had like, oh God, everything just really, and it's like you could see the confidence.
You've got the scene of Prabhas from Baahubali 2 on your shirt, like
Oh yeah, it is Baahubali 2. I love the
elephant.
elephant scene. Now Baahubali 1 made the huge mistake of killing an elephant, and I did not like that. Where he banged the elephant with that huge thing, the elephant died. Well, in this movie, the elephant does not get killed, but some other animals did, which I also just fast forward because I cannot even deal with that at all, even if it's CGI. But I love the scene where the elephant is there, and it's we'll talk about the mechanism of why it was sort of in the way, the rampaging elephant, and then when he walks with the elephants, such a gorgeous see. That's this kind of a scene, this scene of him like standing on an elephant, you can hardly tell. That's the kind of visuals that are so magical, so great. So this is where we went with 2.
It starts the movie off, right, with this just amazing scene. Now, first, it's to say, again, I had to wait 2 long years.
2 years!
But this film is literally why I have a YouTube channel, because when the second movie came out, in my theater in Chicago, it came out on IMAX. And of course, I was there first day, first show. Do you know how crazy I was? First day, first show IMAX was $40.
What?
If you saw it in Hindi at another theater, it was, I think, $33. Like, so they had similar pricing to like in India. The first weekend, I think, is more expensive. And then prices go down. And so like after that first time, I think it was like $33. I don't know, but it was still one of the most expensive ticket prices that I have ever paid. Completely worth it.
Money. Well, if any movie is worth that kind of money, it's this movie. It gives you so much money, so much bang for your buck, as they say.
So I was interviewed. There was somebody from the channel Bolly Fools who was seeing the second show. So I saw the first afternoon show. And I don't know, must have tweeted to him. I'm like, I got my ticket, and so he said, could I interview you between the showing? So literally there was just 10 or 15 minutes.
Wow.
And so he was going to the same theater that I was. And so he points his phone at me and like, can you be spoiler free? I'm like, oh yeah. And so just spur of the moment, like I said, I had no prep. I had just walked out of the theater and I was able to give a, completely spoiler-free review of the film. And then he turns off his phone and he's like, have you ever thought of being on YouTube? I'm like, no. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And so I was on the Bolly Fools channel for a while before I had my channel, but that's how it all started from this film. So this film literally changed my life. I saw Baahubali 2 4 times in the theater. Dragged my family. One of those showings was dragging my entire family, my 3 sons and my husband, to see this film in the theater.
And their response?
My middle son Zach had a very strong reaction because he was so incensed that Avantika had such a small part to play in this movie.
Oh,
because he loved her from the first, and watching it again last night, I was just like, they could have thrown her a bone. Like there could have been a little, when Devasena is walking with the fire on her head.
Yes.
They could have done a 30-second sword fight or something where she has her own little moment there, right? Like literally, she just gazes adoringly in astonishment when Katapa is telling the whole story. And then she shows up at the end, throws him a sword, and that's it. So my son was just like, oh, Avantika.
Yeah. It was a bit of a waste of a great warrior princess that they should have used more.
I mean, but I mean, you sort of wonder. The first film was so incredibly successful, right? It was this Pan-American, Pan-Indian film. It was huge in the diaspora. It was huge in America. And so you wonder if they had some idea at the beginning, but then okay, we have all this money, like, right? Did
Yeah.
plans change? It's sort of there's all sorts of things that I wonder.
Yeah.
We talked in our first video about how Sandeep has this cameo and says, if you ever need a friend, you can call on me. Was he supposed to show up and then they changed their mind on how some of the final battle scenes were going to, you know, they're going to do palm trees, warriors.
I know.
Like, I don't know. You know, I mean, just wonder over the course of a couple of years of the filming, did plans change? And I said to my husband, he was so mad that he's like, there was that foreshadowing and then there wasn't a payoff and then we had Avantika and there wasn't a payoff.
That's right.
I said, okay, but I go through this movie and it would be very hard for me, and it was probably very hard for the editor. Like, what would I give up?
Yeah.
So I would have those scenes. And I think there could have been room for 30 seconds of Avantika being awesome, but okay.
I know.
But like the love story is so much better.
Yeah, it is.
So much better.
And it's more complex, and it carries a weight that resonates through the politics of the area, the sexism of the area, like everything that was their relationship wasn't just about the object of desire. She was a fully fledged, fully developed female character that didn't see a lot of in a lot of these movies.
Yeah, so who has agency and who says to her,
she's like,
you think you could just decide for me and I don't have any input in this? Like,
oh my God, I saw that. I'm like, oh man, it is on right now. Oh shit, right? She said no to her. Ooh, that'd be scary.
Right? And also, she gets the marriage offer, and she's like, "Who is this guy? They're just sending me all this gold. Like, they think this is going to convince me? Like, no, I don't think so." I mean, she's just amazing. And so then good. Her, just the whole Katapa as wingman, as Baahubali is just pretending to be this. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give up any of the comedy and the romance, and all of those scenes were just fun. They were just so fun.
They were. And you need that. You need a little bit of that levity because the rest of it's so heavy, you know, and you want there are good things happening.
And, you know, for instance, like, would I give up any song? Like, I can't remember the name of it, but the song that happens in the boat that becomes Sailing Through the Clouds.
Loved that.
Literally jaw dropping. When you know, we talked in our first video about Rajamouli showing us things that we've never seen before. Yeah. Like, that is an example. I mean, I did seeing it multiple times in theater. That was when a lot of the men got up to go their bathroom break. I'm like, okay, you're missing the best part.
You're missing. See, the thing is, you don't know that you're about to see this incredibly magical moment. You're like, oh, here comes the love song. I'm going to leave. Because in the first film, they're kind of dancing around orchids and, you know, and you're like, well, this is all nice and all, and it's a little creepy, but you know, it's fine. But then when you see this, you're like, oh, they're on a boat. I guess we're going to see more of the same. This is the love song. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, what is happening? Whoa, what is happening? Like, all of a sudden he's just, here we go. Rajamouli's just turning the dial up to 11. We're not just going to have a nice love song on a boat. We're going to put that boat in the clouds, and it's going to be crazy.
Oh my God. It's so amazing. You know, and just
cannot predict his visuals. His visual sense is always refreshing and shocking. Like, he doesn't waste a moment. Like I was telling my husband, there's a scene in the middle of this huge battle, crazy fire everywhere, blah, in RRR, and then there's this one, they stop for 1 second, they show this blood drop, and it drops, and it goes into his eye, and you see it kind of go across his eye, and then a little tiny drop down. Gorgeous little tiny quiet scene. They had so many unexpected moments like this also in Baahubali too, and you're like, this is what makes him great, is he knows when to stop for a second and show you one detail in this mass sanity.
Right. I mean, I love even the beginning. We get a recap through all these statues and the amazing
that was cool.
Title sequence. Now, I was not able to find this film in Telugu with subtitles. It's not available streaming anymore. At one point, it was on, I think, Hotstar or whatever, Hulu. It's not right now. It is a travesty. It is a crime. Rajamouli, dude, so like, come on.
I would think he can now. You would think he would, but I watched it in Tamil.
I understand there are different, Karan Johar owns the Hindi rights, whatever. That's why Hindi is on Netflix and so forth. And there's different regional languages that have different packages. Okay, get that. Throw us a bone. At least put it on YouTube or something where I will pay you money. Just let me watch.
Yeah, we'll pay for it.
Now, I happened to watch it in Tamil. So the first one I was Baahubali one rewatching, I was able to find in Telugu, and I paid money. I think on Amazon Prime or whatever. So the only advantage in watching this with Tamil
Mhm.
is that immediately, and I kind of like had gone to the back of my mind, and when the song lyrics started rhyming in English, I'm like, oh yeah. So this film was subtitled in Tamil by Rakes, who I consider the gold standard of
Okay.
subtitling. And she is
Okay.
known, one of her things is that she always rhymes the songs in English. Okay,
Oh,
like
that's
she
so great.
knows song lyrics. And I interviewed her a few years ago about her subtitling this film. And the other thing is that she knows enough English to make it sound like the English is old timey. Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
in the
Ah,
scope of a Baahubali, this is a historical epic.
right.
Again, like if it was a historical epic in the English language, people would not be using contractions. They
Yeah.
would say do not don't. They would say I
Right.
care not care.
Right. Very formal. Yeah.
So that's the same kind of English subtitles that she provided for this film, making it
Mhm.
that kind of formal, old timey language to match the kind of film that it is. And so that was the one plus of watching it in Tamil, even
That's
though
true.
some of the actors dubbed in the Tamil for themselves, like Ramya, who plays Shivagami. I mean, I've seen this film a dozen times, so I recognize their voices. Rana Dogobati, I think, dubs for himself for
Oh, that's cool.
Bala. But Prabhas and Devasena, those two main characters, are not Anushka Shetty and Prabhas. So
That's true.
I mean,
Ah,
nothing against the voice actors; they were fine. It's
they
just
were fine.
it's not.
It's not perfect. I know. You can tell the difference for sure. But I again, I'm looking at it, and it is part of the whole. So it didn't really ruin it for me that it was not always the greatest dubbing, because the visuals and the
Yeah,
production and everything is so overwhelming that you're almost like, I don't even know those people talking anymore. It's like that.
right.
It's just so crazy. And also Anushka Shetty's character arc was so great in this. I mean, I loved her, like the whole twig thing where she's like, "Oh, you think I'm just a crazy woman just picking up sticks? That's what you think?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're just putting sticks in this thing. We don't know what you're doing." So it's like, I love that came full circle. Ah, so good, because I'm
Right.
like,
I
what
mean,
is she doing?
when we have our introduction to her in the first film, and it's almost like she looks like she's out of a horror movie compared
Yeah,
to everybody
I
else.
didn't
Like,
even recognize her first. I'm like, who is
she,
this person?
she whips her hair around, and you're like, and
She
it's
has
so
those
it's like
eyes.
literally the Katsuba character, like
I
jumps
know.
back.
Like, who's this crazy person?
Sores on your face and
Yeah,
all of that. Like, right. I mean, and that was kind of a thing because she's such a huge star.
yeah.
But when people saw the first movie, they're like, "What the heck?" Like she looks horrible. Like what is this character, right? Like
Mhm.
but I mean, the genius of Rajamouli, he knew what he was setting up. He was
Yep.
setting it up to ask those questions. Who
Yep.
is she? How did she end up there?
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Yeah. What happened here with this purpose?
Right? And so I absolutely we spend so much time on the backstory.
Yeah.
And so Prabhas does a good job. We talked a little bit in the first video about how,
Yeah.
When he's the father of Baahubali,
Yeah.
he is a master swordsman. He's a
Right.
master archer. He has trained his entire life in the
Mhm.
arts of war, right?
Right.
And the Shivu character, the son,
Yeah.
has grown up with this tribe near Lake River, whatever. And,
Mhm.
I could believe that he's an archer, but mostly we're just seeing him use brute strength in
Right.
any of the action scenes. And
Mhm.
so there's that contrast between the two characters. Like,
Yeah.
here's the refined, and here's
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
So, I love that. But like the lion's share of the movie is really, this flashback story that Katpa is
Mhm.
telling us about.
Yeah.
How did this come to be that the mother is
Yeah.
chained? How did this guy become, Bala become a king and
Yeah.
not, what happened, right?
Yeah.
Why did Katapa kill Baahubali? Like, the cliffhangers and all cliffhangers. So
I know.
I mean, I do just love that Katapa gets all this humor and
Yep.
all these fun scenes in the romance. Like the
I
scene
know.
where he's looking at the lovebirds and he's like, "Oh yeah, roasted over a slow fire." That was just be like
It's like, nope. So
Yeah.
cute.
Cuts up with the wingman is part of my favorite.
It
Just
was very cute. It was
joy
very
of
cute.
this film. And I also love some of the minor characters. So there's the prince who's really the coward, and
Oh yeah, he was.
and
Yeah, he was really
he
sad.
gets his little arc, where he gets to
So
become a
sad.
hero. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just love that. All these other people get to shine. But to
Yeah.
me, the main thing that I love about this film, besides the big, confrontation at the end between Shiva and Malala,
Yes.
is the love story. Like, I
Yeah.
just absolutely love it.
Yep.
It's not Baahubali 1, I'm a man, you're a
Yeah.
woman.
No. No, she had agency. Like I said, she has her own ideas, and she's not just gonna be like, I'm a mom, so let's just do this. No, she's gonna be a lot more than that.
Right. And the fact that she's been trying to do 2 arrows, and then her look of amazement when she sees him do 3. And that moment of him
I
leaping
love
in
that.
the air, it was so similar to Ramcharan and RRR, you know what I mean? It was
Yes. Yes. Very.
right,
Yep.
that same kind of thing. But it
You can
was like
see his visual language. Like you can see the
right.
things he likes, the tropes he's reusing. It's just really
I
well
mean,
done.
and then the arrow goes on her earring again, talking about something we've never seen before. Like
Yeah.
she's not flinching. Like she's seeing, okay, this guy is a master. But
Mhm.
what I love is where at a certain point in Bahubali 1, Avantika becomes injured and she becomes a damsel in distress and Shiva just takes over.
Yeah.
Here, Bahubali sees her as an equal and they just start shooting arrows together.
Right.
Right?
It's a team effort.
They're fighting together.
That's right.
And then he respects her as a queen, and
That's right. And they even made it a poster.
they even
And it's like, there they are, equals
epic.
in this.
It
2.
is
Baahubali
epic.
2. It's about the 2 of them.
Right, and you think about, when does he fall in love with her? He falls in love when he sees her. What amazing! She gets a hero entry, right?
She does. She
gets a
totally
hero
does.
entry scene where
Yep.
the cloth, gets sliced by the
Yep.
sword, and he sees her eyes, and then he sees her lips,
So
and
good.
then he sees her being a badass,
Yeah.
kicking ass against all these guys.
And I love that he is attracted to that. Again,
Yes.
like he's not attracted just the
Right.
passive, oh, here we're going to assign this nondescript woman to you as your wife. It's like he likes the women who are badass because he can relate to them. And I love that. I love that advanced kind of thinking on his part.
Right. I mean, he is attracted to what a strong woman she has.
Exactly.
So thank you, Rajamouli, for giving us that.
Yes, thank you. People don't realize how appreciative that is. I know when we're trying to be all feminist about it, but it's like when you're seeing women on screen and you want them to be strong and capable, and it's disappointing when you don't get that because women are strong and capable. I know I'm sounding like I'm on a soapbox, but
No, but
I not only do I think that's good for everyone, I just think that is a good plot device anyway in a movie. Like making women capable is a lot more interesting than someone who's just a damsel in distress. Who cares about that? I don't care about that. I want more complexity than that.
And speaking of complexity, we get that with the Shivagami, and a woman character who has her own complexity. So a lot of this film
I loved her in this.
is examining pride, right? Yep. People being so full of pride that they can't back down, and that they make decisions out of pride that they then regret, right? And I mean, Rana Dogobati is such a great hero, such a great villain as Bala. Like, I love how he, we see him being one way to his mother and then walking away and the face changing.
Yes.
Epic.
So good.
Performance, right?
Yep.
And just how he engineers everything because he knows his mother and he knows his mother's pride.
Yep.
And when he gets her the sign of the promise, right? It repeats many times this motif of someone making a promise that then they can't back out of.
That's right.
Prabhas makes Baahubali makes a promise to Devasena that even though he's going to take her back to the kingdom, he will defend her honor no matter what. Okay, well then that, and he gets it, right? And so even, the little baby.
The baby got one.
right? So,
Exactly.
but it just like Shivagami is allowed to be a complex character that we
Yes.
feel a lot of things about, right? Like we're like, why did you do that, right? Why
Yeah.
did you do that? But then we already know from their first film what she sacrificed,
That's
right?
right.
So yeah, because I'm thinking of that final confrontation when David saying is like, yeah, you just signed the death warrant for my husband. Here's my baby.
I know. It's like, what? It's so crazy. And I love that they bookended the walk. So she had the first walk. Like, had this great walk. And first, she has to walk with the burning coals on her head, and she has to walk through unobstructed. She can't stop no matter what happens. Straight
Right.
line. And I love how they ended it. And I have to say, I think that Nuska Shetty looked so freaking cool as the kind of crazy lady
Yeah.
walking with the holes on her head with those eyes, like better than if she was looking just her normal, gorgeous self.
Right.
It was more powerful seeing a woman who'd been through this shit and
Yeah.
walking and being brave. And this woman's not stopping at anything. She is not, and I loved her look of determination, and she's walking and she doesn't look glamorous and she doesn't look cool. She looks like, stand back, people, here comes. They're not going to get in her way. And even the big golden head, it ends up being her gateway. It's just so freaking great.
Yeah. I mean, my husband had a funny line when the gold head falls off the statue and crashes into the palace wall. He's like, I don't think insurance is going to cover that.
Nope.
But I don't know if you noticed over the credit sequence, but the golden head
Oh, yeah.
bounces down the waterfall.
That's
and
right.
it repeats all of those iconic scenes.
That's right.
As Shiva had gone up.
That's right.
Instead it goes down and
So
it rests in front of the big linga that he had put underneath the waterfall.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
I
so
mean,
good.
again, this echoing, like you say, echoing from the very,
Full
very
circle.
beginning.
So good. And the other thing I like about this movie too, like the first one was great. It was a little bit more of his humble beginnings in a way. It was a little more gritty and down and dirty. This one's like full fabulous castles and everything, or whatever they would call those huge kingdoms with like 100-foot statues and huge walls, and like everything was super amped, gorgeous, amazing costumes, huge rooms with thousands of people in them. The battle was like triple the size of the crazy battle we thought was the biggest thing we'd ever seen in the first one.
Even the death chariot, it's got triple blades now.
Yeah, it's really just triple strength. I know you wrote to me, you're like, this is triple strength chariot. I was like, he did. He improved upon it.
Yeah,
and I love that they just said, you know what? We got even more money this time, and we're going to just make this thing look gorgeous, and it's just great to look at. And the whole thing was money. It just looked huge and gorgeous and expensive. Amazing, beautiful. And I think it's even more accessible in the first one, even though I love the first one is more Lord of the Rings, humble beginnings, but this one's just like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I will say one of the things, we talked about the differences between Baahubali the father and Shiva the son.
Yeah.
Shiva the son, again, had until that moment when he grabs his father's sword and slices off his cousin's head, the prince's head.
Yes.
That's the first time he really touches a sword and uses it as a sword in the first movie. And then suddenly this man who's grown up very humbly is a war general. Okay, like if you're going to suspend disbelief, that is the moment, right? When he, I totally believe that this man learning his backstory says, okay, we gotta gather all the army together.
Yeah.
But then the fact that suddenly he's this genius war general and can sword fight as well as his dad.
I sort of was going, I guess it just runs in his blood, because even his dad had sort of supernatural powers in a way. Like he wasn't just a guy, he was like almost like a god. And so I'm like, maybe the son's got sort of that predetermined godlike intelligence and war.
I mean, his name is Shiva. The design that he has is a snake, like the Shiva guy.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yes, he has supernatural strength. You're right. He has godlike strength. So, but he just
his know-how was passed through the bloodline.
Yeah.
He's suddenly a war general.
He's born with it. I don't know what to tell you.
It's instinct.
Once he
just knows.
He just knows.
It's a natural
and he sees palm trees and
That is probably the greatest thing I've ever seen. I stopped it and rewound it a couple times. That was the coolest damn thing I've ever seen. I was
I
like,
mean,
this is where Rajamouli's genius is. But he will show you something like, oh yeah, they're going to use this as a catapult, whatever. Oh wait, wait, what's happening? And then he always makes it like, this is expected, but then he goes, no, it is not. He always does something crazy and special with it. That's why he's so good.
I mean, that particular scene was what got a lot of people to watch the films back in the day, because they saw a GIF or a clip of just that. And people in Hollywood and the West were like, what the what? Like, what movie? What is this movie? Oh, I need to see this.
So
and
funny.
I mean, my husband thinks it's completely ridiculous. I just think it looks so cool. And I'm like, you know what? I'm suspending my disbelief on all of these other things. Like, I don't care.
That's the beauty of that's why I love Rajamouli, because yes, is it ridiculous? Yes, but it doesn't freaking matter, because he's going to do it anyway and he's going to make it look amazing. And we just go, I love it. I don't care if it's sort of dorky, because that's what makes this movie so good, because there is a shameless, beautiful sincerity to this film. And he's not unwilling to go that extra mile going, people might laugh a little at this, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's going to be fucking cool. So he does. And then he does it. And you're like, that was so silly, but not only do it once, he did it a bunch of different times, so it became even cooler. So it's like he just can't stop at just one. We're going to show this stunt like 20 times. It's going to work perfectly every time.
I mean, this movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I don't know how much time is given to that final battle and that final, a confrontation between Bala and Shiva. Like, I mean, there's all these parallels, because even my husband was like, the alabaster linga that he puts his hand on and then the blood is dripping down. He's like, okay, that's like echoing back to him putting it under the fountain. It's like he gave the sacrifice, puts the, puts the stuff on his chest, and then now he's imbued with even more super, from the gods. He's given even more strength. But I love that, again, there's a little bit that he's not just sword fighting. A lot of that is him just using his brute strength, like the chains and just doing
the chains thing was so cool. And I'm looking going, how come his face isn't complete meat by now? Like, and they still look totally handsome with just a little trickle of blood, but he's been hit in the face 20 times with chains on your fists. Like, it's like, okay. And it also is cool that they have this huge battle going on, and then these two guys are fighting. So he takes this huge battle and then brings a microscope down and brings it down to the just total purity of what this is about, which is their battle. So like out here, and then, okay, we're really here for these guys. And then, of course, the woman ultimately takes it down. Ha! She got her due.
I mean, it made me think about, Beam and the chains and the famous intervals, scene. I mean, yes, we have the animals jumping out of the truck and everything, but it's also Beam in those chains, right?
The chains were amazing. And the water.
So, in the water. So again, it's like it started here, right? Like, I mean, he knows how to use all of these different things that are in the set, or they set up the set, to have all of these amazing things to make it. Okay, we've seen fist fights. We've seen to make it. I don't know what's, literally you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen next. Like,
I'm going to hang you off of this giant horse statue, and then you're going to like do some of this horse statue that we're not expecting because you've never seen it before. Okay, it's like crazy.
Right. And I also love that it's not, there is a struggle. Like, Balala Deva is such a formidable villain, formidable antagonist that you're gonna have to work for it, like, right?
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy.
You're not just gonna. It's not gonna roll over this guy and it's gonna be all done. No, you're gonna have to fight for this. You're gonna have to
for a very long time.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, my husband's like, how old is that guy supposed to be? And I'm like, well, I guess he would be 50, but he looks pretty amazing.
He looks pretty damn good. He's doing all right. I know, it's true. The time has not passed for him. 25 years for Shiva, but no time.
A few little grades, right?
That's true.
That's all you need.
He's like, I can still do it. But I got my chariot. That chariot was awesome.
Hey, listen, if Tom Cruise can do it all in his upper 50s, I'll give it.
That's right. So that you're right, but that's great, because you come in and you don't expect this to be a slam dunk, and it isn't. And so I like that sure, the bad guy should be soft and kind of lame, and maybe he hasn't kept up, but he's not. He's totally badass, and you're like, oh, this isn't going to be easy. This is going to be a hard fight, and it should be. And then they have poetic justice at the very end because it's all about coming full circle again. Everything became back to the beginning. The ending became the beginning. The ending. So I love just the poetry of joining these two films. They weren't totally separate stories, even though they kind of were, because we have a son versus the father, but just so gorgeous, so huge, so epic. Like, oh my God, I don't know how this guy does this shit, but he is the master. I have to say, the king of this stuff.
I mean, it just, you think about, like I said, the money that I spent, and I was completely satisfied. 2 hours and 45 minutes of the second film, and I got everything that I wanted pretty much, and things that I didn't even know, couldn't have even imagined seeing. Like the love song on the boat that's flying through the
still one of my favorite scenes.
And just this incredible, I was expecting, okay, it's going to be action, whatever, but to have this incredible love story, to have these strong women in this film, to have Shibagami have this amazing arc and have all of this, family drama about pride and
family drama,
it was more than I could have expected. So these two films together are incredible. And as much as I love RRR, I view them as Rajamouli's best. I mean, again, qualifiers that we've talked about in these two videos, but really amazing films, and ones that if anybody says, what's an Indian film that you would recommend, this is one of the very first ones that I do. And also because I know, even though I have my issues of wanting to see it in Telugu, it's easily accessible on Netflix. It's one that you can tell anyone in the States, well, if you've heard about RRR, you might want to check this one out, right?
Perfect opportunity to re-release this and go from the director of RRR, Academy nominated RRR are these two films, and you'll see it. It's the same sort of spectacle, the same kind of gorgeous stunts and wardrobe and everything else. This is the same in a way because you're seeing the sort of the germination of what led to RRR. You're seeing a lot of the same kind of thinking and the cinematography and the stunts that just won't quit and the beautiful slow motion, and it's like this, and the really deep storytelling, a lot of family drama. Like really, like you said, RRR is basically a bromance, and then you go back into some of their past and you see how that made them who they were, especially Ram's story was so tragic and terrible. So you're still getting that family drama, and so when you go to this movie, you see even more of that, and it's just, you can't go wrong. If you liked RRR, you will love Baahubali. You can't. I mean, I didn't even know what any of this stuff was when I watched it, and I ended up loving it, and I was not prepared for how good it was. So good.
And I tell people, like, what kind of movies do you like? Like, if you like Lord of the Rings kind of movies, how can you not like this, right? Like
Game of Thrones, even. Like, I feel like this is the same kind of epic Game of Thrones. This is basically a Game of Thrones in here. Everybody's kind of like, who's gonna be the king, who's gonna be the queen. So it's like, if you love that kind of shit, you will love this. I mean, you just can't. It's just a different location, but it's all the same grandeur. If anything, it's even more grand, and it's just sun drenched and beautiful, and just amazing.
Elephants and
oh my God, elephants are my favorite. That's why I don't like to see them get hurt. I didn't even like seeing the boar get hunted. I'm such a wimp.
I am hopeful for Prabhas's upcoming films that hopefully one of them are going to be better, because
come on, Prabhas.
He has not surpassed. But I will recommend to you, if you liked him.
Who doesn't like him?
Okay. I will recommend, his nickname is Darling. So like before he was a star in the Baahubali films, he had this film called Darling.
Okay.
And it is a rom-com. It is a hate to love. It is adorable.
Okay. That's easy to remember.
And there's an epic fight scene.
Of course.
Oh yeah. So I mean, he is just great. And also, but if you like him in kind of a family drama, with action and fights, Murchie.
Action and fights.
Well, yeah. I mean, Murchie is with Satya Raj, who plays Katapa.
Okay.
Plays his father in Murchie, and so it's this family separated over feuds, and it's more of a village setting, and has this relationship with his father and everything. So if you like that, you know, epic. You know, again, he's sort of playing like he's a character that doesn't have any fighting abilities, sort of like what we see.
I don't know what I'm doing until it naturally happens.
And then yeah, and then it happens. So,
all right, I'm doing my homework. I will do. I watch Murchie and Darling, and I'll come back on your channel and we'll talk about it.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I mean, I recommend both of them. I think he has this playful way and just like more pure rom-com kind of romances. He, you know, he just has that mischievous kind of character. And Anushka Shetty, who's devastating, is his love interest in Murchie as well. So there's this epic scene where he is painting her toenails. I'm like,
he's painting her toenails.
I'm like,
oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay, now I definitely gotta see this. It sounds like surreal.
She has a very different kind of a part. She's more just like a simple village girl. She's not a queen. It's a very different kind of role. But that's the thing. This film was rematching them, a pairing that people love.
Yes, they were
bringing them back together, and also, like I said, reuniting him with Satyaraj, who he had done very successful film with. So
crossing my fingers for his better films in the future.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's so. I'm going to ask your viewers: is it Murchie or is it Darling? Where there's a fight at the beginning where he is playing with his band in Italy. He's playing the keytar. Do you even know what a keytar is? It's a keyboard. It's a keyboard with like a like
almost like a guitar, like kind of a
made famous by Howard Jones. I made you myself, but okay. So yeah, he is fighting wearing a keytar.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Okay, now I'm definitely watching this. Okay, I'm watching these. I'm gonna come back to you and go, okay, now we're gonna discuss this.
It's just
Before we end, well, once again, like we did with Baahubali 1, we'll show some posters real fast.
Yes.
Of course, I have to show this one because it's my most favorite scene, and it's on my shirt. It's
it is just
spectacular. So cool. I know that's just a great poster.
They're showing like that dust, the offering coming.
That's right.
Underneath, they're showing the dust coming off.
I love that orange on the elephant, and then they have that incredible sky, that beautiful stock sky.
And his beautiful, I guess it's silk, whatever it is.
Yeah,
like his
wardrobe
in Baahubali 2 is just the silks and the
insane. That's the thing. Like you get to see Baahubali get all dressed up and shit in this movie, so it's good. And then we have the classic, montage where everybody looks freaking great. Look at
that. My son would say, "They lie. Look at that Ivantika. She doesn't get to do anything."
I know she doesn't. It's so sad, but they have that great shot of her with the thing on her head. So I
mean, she is right there in the center, but yet not in the center of this film.
I guarantee that these look like they're scenes from the unit photography, and so the poster makers going through go, "Oh, this woman has a great pose. Let's use her," and they don't even really care that she wasn't in the movie that much.
Right.
Show her. Then we have, of course, we showed this earlier. The great. This is it, people. This is it.
They
are equals.
When I went to see Baahubali 2, one of the times that I went to see at my local theater, there was a group of women who had that poster on their saris. Okay, it was printed on saris, and it was like I have a picture. I said, "Can I take my picture with you?" Because I mean, I was like 6 women who all were wearing saris with that poster on it.
That's amazing.
It was incredible. So the anticipation of fans of everyone. I mean, they saw that poster. And we're like, we want to wear it.
I gotta wear it. Well, when I went to the RR screening, there were people there with homemade shirts. They had one woman I had to buy a tiger head purse that was specifically for the screening. One woman had made her own stickers and she was just handing them out. And she had on like some wardrobe from the colors from the film, an Indian flag skirt. People were and the one guy just had a big stuffed tiger, and then they had a big RR flag they were just carrying around. I'm like, in America. Like this shows you the power of this film. I mean, this is not to be understated, but again, there's something you just want to be part of these movies, and owning this image on your clothing makes perfect sense. And also love about this, she's in front, which is another like great little thing there. Then
Right.
we have, his
Yeah.
like you said, he doesn't really use the weapons that much, but here he is holding his weapon because it looks
Yeah.
badass and cool, and it looks kind of like
And his
this
hair.
looks more like almost like he's the King Arthur or something.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So really nice posters and these posters are pretty good, except they don't really give you, except for maybe the dual poster, the element of the beautiful colors. Because this is not a drab film. This is not like
Mm.
desaturated like these
Well,
posters. It's gorgeous.
the other thing is so many other industries are trying to recreate
Yeah.
what Baahubali did, because not only was it, a craze here, like I said, of people going, but it was a truly pan-Indian film that people were in, especially the second one, people were anticipating all over India. It was released in so many different languages. Everyone had to see it right away because we were left with that cliffhanger, and everybody didn't want it spoiled for them. They wanted to go and see it themselves. Exactly. So everyone is trying to recreate that formula. Like Pathan, the recent Shah Rukh Khan film, was released in multiple languages. And,
that's right.
And is trying, again, is the closest thing. I mean, it's hugely successful across India. But, like people in Malayalam cinema at some of these end of year things, like Prithviraj, one of the big stars and producers, was saying he would they're trying to make a pan-Indian film. It's like, okay, like how about you just do what you're good at and promote it better? Like I don't know that everyone has to make a pan-Indian film, but it is something special when you have something like this that captures. It's not just one particular region. It's everybody across the whole country, across the whole world, wanted to see this film, and it lived up to all the expectations and hopes that we all had.
That's right. That's a perfect way to end it because you are totally 100% correct. All right, you guys. So that's our epic two-parter on the Baahubali magic. And it seems like the perfect timing right before the Oscars.
Yeah.
All right. So after
think
seeing that response in the theater when I was there and the insanity around, if this song doesn't win, that's just a travesty. That is just not right.
I mean,
no song has done this ever in movies I've ever seen.
I don't know if you saw Jungkook from BTS this week, was doing a live and was playing Natu Natu and saying he just watched RRR, the RRR movie retweeted. I'm like, oh my god,
it's a phenomenon
everywhere.
It is a phenomenon. And the fact it got nominated for the song is still great. It didn't get the other ones, which I think is also kind of a travesty, but it wasn't technically written in as an option, so people didn't know they could vote for it. But I mean, come on. This is pure entertainment, people. And this is just another extended version of that.
Yeah. And we talked about the people that sang the song are, I think, the ones that are going to perform it at the Oscars.
Love it. There's no way they're going to be able to dance it. There's no way anyone could dance that whole dance. This is without falling down or getting tired, because that is insane.
Well, I want to see him try though.
If I want to see, NTR and Ram Charan up there dancing, but they won't. No way will they do it. They'll just say, "We're going to sit back here in the audiences
in our tuxes."
Exactly. We're going to take it easy right now. We're going to win this award and not be sweaty. All right. Talk to you guys later.